A true and haunting story of the homeless man with razor-sharp teeth. Never turn your back on strangers. What is this? My grandmother used to speak to me in the daily language. Sign. When my grandmother was 43, an attacker tore off both of her ears and ate her flesh. She tells me this story every day. Even though I'm over 20 now, but she still sees me and talks about it every day. That guy chewed off her ear. The bite was so strong that at first she thought she had been bitten by a dog. She screamed and he stroked her neck and said, "Be quiet before I eat your vocal cords." Then he gritted his teeth with the sound of a safe. That sounds scary. I always shiver every time you hear that AI chewing food. And since then, I've started to have a speech impediment. It's already 25. Our neighborhood security is loose, so it's not just my grandmother. Many of the women were also eaten by him. The police couldn't catch the culprit either. But I'm nervous. My grandmother told me not to worry, because now the times are more advanced. That didn't happen. But she always told me to cover my ears when I went out. I told her that one day I'll tear off the criminal's ear and wear it's back for you. One day, I saw an old homeless man on the street. I felt bad, and he gave me the money. He thanked me and was eating something strange. I asked him what he was eating, and he answered with a smile. "This is pig ears." I was surprised and asked him why he ate pork ears. He smiled and said, "I really want to eat human ears. But because there is no, so I just ate this." When you see your ears, my mouth starts salivating and I'm going crazy. I can turn into a dog and eat your ears. So get out of here. He kept eating pig's ears like a starving man. My heart began to beat violently. I asked him if he'd ever tried human ear. Is he whispering? I haven't tried. But someone told me that human ears are really delicious. And then he suddenly screamed, "My ears have been chewed." And he said it was really delicious. That's when I found out he didn't have ears. I was shocked. I was terrified and tried to leave quickly, but he kept holding me back and telling me, "I also want to eat your ears. I don't need money. Can you give me a bite?" He smiled and showed his teeth. His teeth were sharp. I pushed him out and ran away. I went home and asked my grandmother if I remembered the criminal's face. She nodded. I started painting the criminal's face while talking to her. But as soon as you see the full sketch table, I was shocked because the sketch table looks a lot like a homeless person that I've seen. The eyes closed and the nose was wide. Teeth with serrated teeth. And most of all, his laughter was bizarre. His laughter was deep. When I imitated my grandmother, I was surprised. She said she remembered that laughter. Maybe the homeless are the culprits. That's what made my grandmother like this. Even though it's late, but I went back to that homeless man. He's still lying there. I ran to ask him, did he chew off my grandmother's ear? And then he said, "Do you have a picture of her? I'll recognize her when I see her face." I grabbed his collar. "Remember the woman you threatened to eat off your vocal cords not too long ago?" I remember, but the number of women I raped like that. Probably more than 10 people. I was so angry I wanted to tear his hand off. But his hands are no longer there. He seemed to understand my thoughts and laughed out loud. I ate my own money. It's so delicious, I don't even feel the pain. Why did God only give people 2 ears? I want more. And then suddenly, he came rushing towards me. I punched him in the face with all my strength. He screamed and fell backwards. but I kept beating him, and he ended up unconscious. I took a picture of his face and went home. I showed the picture to my grandmother and she seemed shocked. When I asked if you were him, she closed her ears and nodded. People no longer see it, the man on the street, ever since, and my grandmother never mentioned that man's name again.